I'm gonna talk a little strategy, but I'm also gonna talk mindset because we all get stuck somewhere, by the way. Whether you're at $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, new levels, new devils. We're always gonna have seasons in our life, chapters in our life where we feel stuck or even we feel like we're going backwards. How many of us have experienced this? I can tell you this. I've learned more from the struggle. I've learned more from not having success. I've learned more from having bad upline leaders. I've learned more from, having people quit or having people reject me. I've learned more from the negativity, from the struggle than I ever learned from the successes and the yeses. Mindset is of the utmost importance, right? What you speak about, what you think about, the energy you bring about, that's the results you're going to attract. Those are the kinds of people you're going to attract. So if you focus on negativity and you focus on the struggle and you focus on your problems, guess what? You're just going to attract more problems. So you got to be very careful what you speak about, what you think about, because that's what you'll bring about. So I need you to appreciate the fact that it's supposed to be hard, but hard compared to what? When someone says, oh, those things are hard, or it's hard to do videos, or it's hard to build a team, or it's hard. First of all, stop acknowledging the hard. Stop acknowledging the struggle, and stop acting like it's this unusual thing. The trials and tribulations that you experience are not rare. Listen, our problems are not rare commodities. It's not like this rare thing that never happens. Like, I'm so shocked that someone quit. I'm so shocked that someone joined someone else's team or someone joined a different company. They said they were going to sign up and then they signed up with someone else. I'm so shocked that my video that I spent an hour creating was a flop. I'm so shocked that, my best friend thinks it's a pyramid scheme. Stop being so shocked. I shared this quote the other day, Tony Robbins. He says it best. The biggest problem with people is they think they're not supposed to have any. And the biggest problem with people is they think they aren't supposed to have problems. Who told you it was going to be easy? Anything worth doing is hard. Of course, it's hard to learn new skills and show up on camera and reach out to your chicken list. If you don't have a chicken list, either you're lying or you are the cockiest person I know. We all have people that make our palms sweaty. We all have stories to tell that we're embarrassed to tell. We all have seasons and chapters that we'd rather not publish. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be hard. And let me tell you something. Hard compared to what? I remember because I worked at a crab house and I was a busboy, right? So I was 15, 16. I don't remember the exact age, but first of all, disgusting job. A lot of sweeping and mopping and all the things. But I remember this clear as day. Taking out trash bags. Now, this is a crab house. So guess what's inside the trash bags? Crab shells. Guess what pokes through the plastic bag? Or it's not plastic, but you know what I'm saying? The trash bag, right? Crab shells. So guess what would always scratch up my leg? Crab shells. Right. The shell of the crab, the pokey part, was poking me in the legs as I'm carrying out the bag. Yes, that sucked. That was hard. And guess what? When I first got a job, it was overwhelming. Shocker. So when someone's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, what? Did you expect this to be easy? If it was easy, everybody would be rich. If it was easy, everybody would be fit and good looking and they'd have well-behaved children and a big dream house and they would drive the car of their dreams and they'd be debt free and they would travel the world. And they would have all these things. They'd be perfect. That's not reality. And by the way, we all struggle with something. So you might be jealous or envious, which by the way, don't be. But let's say you are a little envious or jealous of someone else's home or their results or their business or their success or how good they are on camera or how pretty they are or how, smart they are. But the truth is, I know people that make more money than me and they're miserable humans. They're narcissistic, crazy people, have toxic relationships and their team culture is toxic and their businesses, they're making money, but no one on their team is making money. And they work 24/7 and their kids don't know them or like them. Their spouse divorced them. I mean, the point is, just because someone makes more money than you or they have a six pack, you know what I'm saying? They're better looking than you. That doesn't mean that they've got every aspect of their life figured out, right? It's like we're jealous of someone's front yard, but we're comparing their front yard to our backyard, right? We're comparing their chapter 10 to our chapter 1, or we're only paying attention to what they post on social media, which is just a highlight reel. You know what I'm saying? We have problems every day. Last night, Nadya had to wake up in the middle of the night to help take care of Toby's ears and do some ear care. Why? Because we all have problems. Now, you might say, well, John, that's a minor problem. Sure, I'm not saying every problem is a big problem, although some of you blow the littlest problem out of the water. Like your kids didn't do something, or your spouse didn't do something, or, your upline didn't get back to you, or something happened and you blow it out of proportion. You make mountains out of molehills. How many of us have heard this, right? That's what my parents used to say. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill, John. We have to learn to control our emotions and exchange our frustration with appreciation. Exchange our expectations with appreciation, as Tony Robbins also says. Why? Because thank God I have problems. That means I'm still alive. Thank God I have problems with my business. That means I have a thriving business with lots of moving parts. And you have to appreciate the fact that, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. If you don't have any problems, you don't have much of a business. You don't have much of a life. Right? If you want to avoid problems altogether, play really, really small. And by the way, that's not even true, because even if you play small and you try to live a life of insignificance and mediocrity, you have a whole new realm of problems. And in my opinion, much more stressful problems. You can't pay your bills. If an emergency comes up, you don't have the money, right? You have to pay really high interest rates on credit cards because you can't pay them off, and the credit card companies are taking advantage of you, whatever it is. And to me, I would rather have the problems I have today, obviously, than the problems I had when I was a waiter or a busboy or I was broke as a joke. So we need to start learning new language. We need to stop focusing on the problems and feeling sorry for ourselves. It's like Les Brown says. Stop complaining to other people. Half of them don't care. The other half, they're glad it's you. They're happy for you to have those problems. But on a serious note, I need you to embrace the suck. I need you to suck it up, buttercup, and say, you know what? What am I meant to learn here? I'm struggling with my social media. What am I meant to learn here? Because, and I said this in the beginning, but just to reiterate, the things I learned during the struggle when I was down here, spending more money than I was making, it gave me perspective. It gave me a lot of gratitude, because later on when I built a 6-figure and then eventually a 7-figure business, I had way more appreciation because I remembered what it was like to struggle. I remember what it was like to be new. I remember what it was like to have a lot of rejection and have this huge downline. Eventually, I had a pretty big downline in those early days, and there was zeros next to everyone's name. I had no volume because it was a glorified pyramid scheme, but that's a whole other conversation. I just need you to understand that there's lessons learned. So you got to ask yourself, what am I meant to learn right now? Why am I stuck? What am I focusing on? Am I focusing on my stuckness? Am I focusing on the struggle? Or am I focusing on growth, abundance, prosperity? See, different words. Different questions lead to different results. What could I be doing differently? How can I get in front of more people? How can I attract better people? How can I have better conversations? How can I become a better marketer? How can I become a better leader? How can I become a better question asker? That always sounds funny, right? Don't be bitter, get better. Don't be frustrated, get fascinated. Work on yourself. How did I become a great recruiter? By having lots and lots of conversations that didn't go so well. Getting rejected hundreds and actually thousands of times, by losing really good contacts, losing really good prospects because I didn't follow up. I didn't say the right things. I lost track of people. I learned more from my mistakes than I did from the success, the growth, the abundance, the prosperity. Yes, I have all those things now, but I didn't get there without the failures, right? I didn't get there without failing forward and making the mistakes and understanding that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And I need to take personal responsibility and become more disciplined, become a better communicator, become a better relationship builder. In fact, it's not really network marketing as much as it is relationship marketing. The reason I enrolled 20 people last month and 7 people this month, it's not just because of Facebook Reels, although that's been helpful. It's not just because of TikTok, that's been helpful. It's not just because I built a brand, it's been helpful over the last decade. And by the way, it's been a decade of me building a personal online brand. And even before that, I was a decade in the profession, a decade of doing offline before I ever did my first video. So you need to give yourself some grace and give yourself the permission to fail and suck and struggle, because it's normal, but don't focus on that. Don't stay in the stuck. Don't stay in the suck. Don't stay in the struggle. Focus on that growth, that prosperity, that abundance, right? Focus on new conversations, talking to new people. doing some new content. Stop beating a dead freaking horse. And as you build up that hustle muscle, you build up better routines, better habits. You will develop into the type of person that you need to become to deserve the lifestyle, the freedom, the results, the bank account, the business that you desire. So what are you meant to learn? How are you meant to grow? As I was building up my confidence, building up my skills, building up my abilities, building up my brand, I was also building those relationships on the back end all the time, every day. I talk to new people every day. I talk to people that I'm friends with that aren't in my business yet every day. How did I get good at the things I'm good at? I've outworked most people. I've out-hustled. I've done more content. I've been a giver. I've outgiven the competition. I've outsmarted the competition. I've created more systems, more tools, more resources. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. I have better integrity than I did when I was first getting started. I have better perspective. Are you getting this? This did not happen overnight. I sometimes feel bad for people that have fast success because I know that if they experience some adversity or their business tapers off or declines or even falls apart, they may not be able to rebound or rebuild because they don't have the perspective I do. The greatest thing in the world is it could take a long time because when you get there, when you arrive, which you never truly arrive, right? But when you arrive to some extent, you start seeing consistency. You start seeing really great results where people are like blown away by how you recruit, how you sell, how you market, how you promote. You'll know what it took to get there and you'll know how hard it was and what you had to do, the price you paid to get to that point where you are a top enroller, where you are a top recruiter, where you are a top earner. Because here's the thing, the people that did it through dumb luck, they just got lucky, right place, right time. They joined the right company. They enrolled the right person. They got lucky. Those people can't do it more than once. They can't rebuild. I know a lot of very talented people that unfortunately, because they thought it was supposed to grow quickly because the first company, it was really easy, or maybe their second company grew really fast. Now they have this false expectation of what it should be or could be, and they don't have the grind in them. They don't have the relationships and credibility that they thought they had because they mistreated people. And it's sad, but how many of us had an upline that you outworked, where you were a better leader than they were? Now, listen, some of you might be in that situation now. Who cares? I don't give a rat's ass what my upline's doing. I love my upline, but they don't make me money. My upline doesn't make me money. I make me money. My downline now see, I don't even like saying it this way, but this is what it is. My downline, their customers, my organization, my team. I know some people are like, I don't like downline. Well, you can call it whatever you want, but the people that are within your organization that you override, you make money based on helping them make money. And by the way, you might make money even if you don't deserve it. What a beautiful thing. That's what I love about this profession. You might say, well, my upline doesn't deserve to get paid on me. Did they introduce you, or did they introduce the person that led to you? Yes. That's just the way it goes. But guess what? You can out-earn them. I've always out-earned my upline. I've always made more money than my sponsor, the person that brought me in. The whole nobody's given me anybody, or the mentality of my upline doesn't help me. I'm sorry, but your upline isn't responsible for you. And by the way, you're not responsible for the people in your downline on your team. Does that make sense? Now, with that being said, I think I'm the best upline there is. Pat myself on the back. I think I'm pretty awesome at this. I think most of the people on my team would say that I'm a pretty damn amazing leader and I'm in the trenches, I'm available, I'm accessible, I support them. But at the end of the day, even if I wasn't available, accessible, even if I wasn't in the trenches leading by example, they can still go out and build their business with or without me. Now, it doesn't mean some people won't, right? Some people they won't take on that responsibility. They're not the 20% you're looking for. They're more of the 80%. They need their hand held. They need more support. They don't have big goals, big dreams, big aspirations. And by the way, that's fine. That's how I started out. I started out as an 80%er. But because I showed up to events and I worked on me and I put forth the effort to build up my confidence, build up my belief, eventually I got to that point where I started to see more success. Crawl with the crawlers, walk with the walkers, run with the runners. Don't try to drag anchors. Right? So if you have someone that's not as serious, not as committed as you, they're not showing up. You don't want to have to beg someone to work, convince someone. If I had to convince someone to join, I got to convince them to work, convince them to follow the system, convince them to do the do. Does that make sense? Right? So if someone's sucking your energy, you get those energy vampires. People like that, just don't give them time. Don't give them the energy that they're taking, they're a taker. You want to work with people that are grateful, people that are givers, people that are positive, people that are coachable and willing to show up. If someone's constantly in your inbox complaining, when you complain, you remain, right? So if someone is constantly complaining, whining, we're looking for warriors, not whiners. Everyone can enroll people, but a lot of times the reason you struggle with recruiting or selling is because either you're not having enough conversations or you have commission breath and it stinks. You know what I'm saying? You just like, every time you talk to people, it's very salesy and it's very direct. Here's a great way to follow up with people. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing? How are things coming along? When I follow up with a prospect that I ATM'd, like they know why I'm following up. I don't need to say, hey, Sarah, are you ready to get started in my business? Are you ready to buy some products? It's like, hey, John, how's it going? How about saying hi first? How's your day? I hope you had a great weekend, right? Again, speaking human and don't have commission breath. How many people are you talking to about the business or products? What are you saying to people? What kind of language are you using? Are you doing group chats? Are you putting your business prospects in a group chat the next day? Because that's paramount. If I enroll a new social marketer, that's what we call them in our company, if they don't introduce me to people, it's really hard for me to help them. I can give them all the coaching and guidance they need, but if they want to build a team, they need to put me in chats with the people that are interested in making money. Why? Because that's a part of our system. That's a big part of our system. Even if the person would have joined without the chat, without the three-way chat, without a group chat, the problem is if they don't experience the three-way chat, the upline chat, the prospecting chat, the group chat, all right, because I know some of you call it different things. If they don't experience it, how can I tell someone to do something they never experienced? Does that make sense? The system isn't just in place for you. It's in place for the people that you partner up with. Here's something I'm going to teach you too. Funny equals money. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Nadya says it best. Take the stick out of your butt. Take the stick out of your butt. Some of you are too uptight, man. You're way too uptight. Listen, I want you to be serious about your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. I want you to be serious about your product and opportunity. I want you to change lives for a living. But when you're stiff and you're too serious, people can smell that stuff a mile away. They can smell your desperation. Desperation and neediness does not pay the bills. I'm sorry, you can't bring neediness to the marketplace and think you're going to get rich. It just doesn't work that way. And I know some of you are like, oh, John, but you don't understand. Yes, I do. You don't understand. Would you agree there's people worse off than you that have had a worse upbringing, a worse past? There's people that had, less abilities getting started and they figured it out. You can't honestly think that you have like the worst story. Nobody does. You know, it's like the saying goes, I felt bad for the man with no shoes until I met the man with no feet. There's always someone doing worse than you that figured it out. There's always people with less talents and abilities, less opportunity, but they figured it out. So you focusing on what you don't have and the lack and the scarcity is a big part of your problem. Leadership is a choice. Growth is a choice. It's what we focus on.